Hey guys, Sebastian here again. Today we're going to be breaking down the King's Indian defense. So without further ado, let's quit the dilly down and let's get into the video. The King's Indian defense is after d4, knight to f6, and your opponent plays c4, you play g6. After g6, you get knight to c3, bishop to g7, and knight to f3. You play short castles. Sorry, not short castles yet. You play d6. After d6, we get e4. Now short castles. Bishop to e3. e5. Bishop to e2. c6. After d5, you play knight to a6. Now let's move on to the second line of this video. Whoa. You guys did not see that. Shut up. The second line of this video goes d4, knight to f6, c4, g6, knight to c3, bishop to g7. Now here we get e4, d6. After that we get knight to f3. And this is, after short castles, bishop to e3, we're going to be playing this is known as a small center variation with c6. Wait, am I on the right line? No, I'm not. Okay, so c6 after... Oh, sorry, knight bd7. I'm thinking ahead into the future. Bishop to e3. Now you play c6. Short castles and e6. After e6, common moves go rook to c1, queen to e7, queen to c2. After this, rook to d8, rook fd1, and a6. So thank you guys for making it this far into the video. Now let's move on to a game breakdown. That obviously will feature the King's Indian defense. If it didn't, well, then there'd be no point. d4, knight to f6. Oh yeah, this is Magnus Carlsen versus Boris Gelfand in 2010, I believe. And this is rapid. After c4, g6, knight to c3, bishop to g7, and e4, we get d6, knight to f3, short castles, bishop to e2. The idea of bishop to e2 is because if you play bishop to e3, g4, like bishop to g4, with this pin, and then you just have to drop your bishop back again, so you might as well not waste the tempo and play bishop to e2 now. After that, we get e5, bishop to e3, do not take, you just develop his knight towards the center. We get c6 and d5. After this, we get knight to a6, and if you recognize this position, you paid attention. So after knight to a6, we got short castles, knight to g4, attacking this here, f6, bishop to h4, and don't play g5, play c5. The idea of c5 is to begin controlling this dark square complex even more. If you only have, yes, you do only have 3 pawns on this light square, on these light squares, but that's because all of his pawns are on light squares. So that's the reason why you're putting all of your pawns on, why you're putting the majority of your pawns onto these dark squares. This pawn really doesn't count because it doesn't do much. Here we get knight to e1. The idea of knight to e1 is to attack this. Here we get h5, just defending. There you get a3, a prophylactic move, trying to not allow the knight to move forward. Here we get queen to e7. After queen to e7, just getting another piece involved, we get knight to d3. And b6. Now, okay. You have how many pawns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many does your opponent have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What does this mean? When both players have 8 pawns in a position. What is that position? I'll give you guys a few seconds to think about it. Okay. If you guys said that the position's closed, then you're correct. So with every pawn being, so with this being such a closed position, this is just going to have like a lot of slow improving moves like h3, which is played, knight to h6, and f4. He's still trying to lash out though. This is a rapid game. Boris Gelfand is not going to just sit there and wait for you to make a move. g5, forcing you to take. You can't push, because I win your bishop. You can't take, because I win your bishop. So here you literally have to play f takes g5 and f takes g5. After all of that, you get rook takes f8 check, bishop takes f8, and bishop to f2. Still can't take this pawn. I would take this. So after that, we get g4, locking out this dark squared bishop, this light squared bishop, and just playing aggressive. Magnus Carlsen is amazing at this. So we get h4, locking down the position more, knight to f7, g3, keeping this pawn from moving whatsoever. Here we get bishop to h6. Very good idea from Magnus. The idea is you are taking away this square from this rook. Here we get b4 and bishop to b7. After this, we get b takes c5, knight takes c5, knight takes c5, and d takes c5. The reason why he plays d takes c5, yes, he's opening up this pawn to move, but that does not matter. Because if you take with your b pawn, we get rook to b1, and therefore Boris Gelfand would have the entire b file. So that's why we get d takes c5, and after d takes c5, we get a4. Just playing like this. Rook to f8, a5. Fight me, come on. Boris Gelfand just like that. Fight me, come on, let's go. Think about how, if anyone who has a little sibling knows, your little sibling will keep poking you. Hey, let's take this pencil for an example. Hey, hit me, come on, fight me, come on, let's go. And what he wants you to do is punch him straight in the face, and then you'll tell mom and you get grounded for 8 months. It's totally worth it, though. You should do it. To clarify, that's a joke. Don't take me down, YouTube. Here we get queen to f8. The idea of queen to f8 is I want to move my knight and take this with check. We get queen to e8, saying, well, now if you move your knight, that doesn't come up with this. But he still moves his knight, knight to d6, just getting it developed. Rook to a2, and the idea, a great idea, bishop to c1. The idea of bishop to c1 is you want this, this, and this, and I'm up the pawn. So after bishop to c1, we get a takes b6, and a takes b6. After that, we get bishop takes c5, great idea, b takes c5, and queen takes c1. After this, we get queen to f2 check, and now material is equal. But now Boris Gelfand goes on a king hunt. Queen g5 check, king to f7, this, we get this, that, this, no draw, check, here, check, here, check, and what? King to f8, rook to 8, check, And now it's winning, actually, for black. Knight to c8 check. Takes, and check. You want to know what the best part? After king g7, you can't take this pawn. You can't take it. That's so funny. You cannot take it. So what does he play? Queen to g5 check again. King to h7. Only good move. Find it. Okay. Queen to h5 check. King to g8. Queen to g5 check again. Rook to g7. Queen to d8 check. King to h7, and finally he takes. That was a mistake, though. Rook to f7. You might have queen to g4. Sorry, queen takes g4. I have rook to f1 check. You resign now. Okay, you resign here. Bishop takes. I win your queen. Yeah, you have d6. I put you in check. You can move. I take this. You can't promote. I stop you in time. Oh. Wait, but you're saying I don't have to play king to g1. I can play here. I can still take. You can still push. I still win. Go do something productive with the rest of your day.